wishes to make a connection among all the writers of the Bengali community and to create a bridge between the writers and the readers of the community. With this intended purpose, BLRC has organized the Bengali Writers Conference tonight. In the Writers Conference, we want to celebrate writings, celebrate literature, and celebrate books. We have invited more than 100 writers from the Bengali community to join us. Apart from these writers, we are happy to announce that tonight, many readers too have joined us in our celebration. We are grateful that some non-Bengali speaking guests are also present here to encourage us. Ladies and gentlemen, we have segmented the whole conference into different sessions. The inaugural session will continue till 6 p.m., which will end in an informal chat or Adda session, as we call in Bangla. During this Adda session, we will try to take a look at the books of the writers who are present here. While chatting with our writer friends, we'll enjoy some light refreshments. At 7 p.m., we will hear from some writers of the community about their thoughts and emotions related to the publication of their debut books. Mr. Choyon Dash, a very well-known presenter of the community, will conduct this session. The session starting at 8 p.m. will focus on some writers who will share their thoughts about their forthcoming books. Mr. Shekhar E. Gomes, a very popular performer of the community, will conduct this session. At 9 p.m., the writers will read out from their own creations. Mr. Reza Aniruddha, an advisor of BLRC, will conduct this session. Ladies and gentlemen, we are happy to announce that tonight, Toronto poet Laureate, Miss Anne Michaels, an internationally reputed poet and novelist, has kindly agreed to grace the opening session. Noted freethinker and writer Mr. Akbar Hussain, distinguished poet Mr. Ashok Chakraborty, and the managing director of East End Arts, Miss Cindy Roseboom, are also joining us in the inaugural session. Please put your hands together to extend a warm welcome to these distinguished guests. This session will be presided by the chairperson of BLRC, Dr. Rakhal Sarkar. Now, may I request Dr. Rakhal Sarkar to come on the stage with other guests, please? Ladies and gentlemen, now I request Toronto Poet Laureate, Miss Anne Michaels, to declare the conference open. Would you please come to the mic? You want me to hold it for you?
Oh, I see, okay.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, the mic, are you okay?
Okay, yes. I, Anne Michaels, the Poet Laureate of Toronto, hereby declare the Bengali Writers Conference 2016, organized by the Bengali Literary Resource Centre, inaugurated.
Thank you, Ms. Michael. Dear writers and honorable guests, for last one full year, BLRC has been working on a literary journal named BLRC Sahitya Potrika. This literary journal is enriched by the literary works of about 65 Bengali writers living in Canada. And tonight, we are excited to announce the official launching of this journal. Now, may I take the privilege to invite the editorial panel of the BLRC Sahitya Potrika, who gave their valuable time and creativity for creating this literary journal, to come on the stage. I'll announce the names. Mr. Subroto Kumar Das, the chief editor. Mr. Shujit Kushumpal, the executive editor. Also, may I invite the following members of the board on the stage: Mr. Shekhar E. Gomez, Mr. Choyon Dash, Mr. Manik Chondo, Mr. Kazi Jahiruddin, Mr. Delwar Ilahi, and Mr. Shurojit Roy Mojumdar. Thank you. And now I would like to request all the guests and the editorial board members to unwrap the BLRC Shahitya Potrika. Many thanks to the editorial board. Mr. Shubhrata Kumar Das, the chief editor of the BLRC Shahitya Potrika and executive director of the BLRC, would you kindly say a few words here?
Many thanks to Nandita for inviting me. Honorable Chair, distinguished guests, fellow writers and dear friends, good afternoon. Months back, when BLRC decided to organize a program called Bengali Writers Conference, the question that came up immediately was, who is a writer? Are we going to consider that one as a writer who has at least 6 published books? You all know, from Canadian point of view, writers of 6 books are considered established. Or is one published book good enough to call someone a writer? Or will we include all those who are self-published? Or does it mean that one whose poems or stories or articles have been published by a newspaper or literary journal should also be considered as a writer? Or ones who write very well but only on social media should also be included? During my stay in Canada since 2013, I have been observing there are many people in my new community who write really very, very well. Gradually, we came to know that there are many published writers in the Bengali community of Toronto and in adjacent cities, comprising roughly 100,000 Bengali people. After the inception, BLRC has studied there are at least 65 Bengali writers across Canada who have at least one published book. But excluding them, it is our observation that there are hundreds of good writers among us who write very well, but for many reasons, they don't have any book to their credit. We all know that it is not that easy all the time to get a Bengali book published living in a foreign land. And the truth is, BLRC wanted to bring all the writers of the Bengali community, established and published and even non-published, under the same umbrella to see and as well as to show the power of the writing community. While we had been fixing answers of the first question, immediately we had to face a new one. Who is a Bengali? One who speaks Bangla? Or should he or she be originated from Bangladesh or of West Bengal? But one whose forefathers are from those parts of South Asia and sorrowfully has now little skill in writing and reading Bangla, aren't the Bengali? If that is so, our next generation, who do have less ability in their own language, shouldn't we call them Bengalis? Ladies and gentlemen, with all these questions in mind, Bengali Literary Resource Centre has organized today's Writers Conference. We are grateful that, with the support of the writing community, we have been able to publish BLRC Sahitya Patrika. BLRC is thankful to the editorial panel for their sincere efforts. For months, they have given their time and creativity. From our heart, we express our sincere gratitude. Whether it has been a literary journal or not, that will be decided by you. But what we have tried to do is to collect writings from many different parts across Canada, from PEI to Vancouver, through Ottawa to Montreal to Calgary. We have tried to incorporate writings of the established ones, as well as from ones who are seeing their debut piece published right today. We have published a piece by a writer who is at his 90s, but we have also published one who is at her early 20s. We have tried to contact writers both from Bangladesh route and West Bengal route. We have published pieces written both in Bangla and English. As a member of the editorial board, I can only say that we have tried to include a good number of poems, stories, and literary articles in the Sahitya Patrika. And more than that, we have incorporated writings on many different issues of our community. We are grateful that 67 writers have contributed to the Sahitya Patrika unveiled today. As generally happens, some of the more known writers could not manage time to contribute by the proposed time. Some of the writers contributed afterwards, and sorrowfully we couldn't publish those. We all know that this is the first issue, and we humbly admit that we do have many stories of unsuccess. But BLRC believes if we all can work together, very soon we will be able to create stories of success. We acknowledge the support of our sponsors, without whose contribution today's program could not have happened. Since our announcement of the Writers' Conference, we have found a sort of zeal among the writers of the community to honor their enthusiasm and to work more on their literary talents. BLRC has planned to arrange the next year's Writers' Conference in summer of 2017. In the next conference, BLRC will publish the next issue of the Patrika with more creativity, with more literary flavors. And so, on behalf of BLRC, I like to take the privilege to request you all to send your piece for the next issue. Let's fix the last day of submission, the last day of February. I think that will be the best decision to get the submissions. Dear friends, Bengali Literary Resource Centre is to promote your literary talents. It's an organization of the writers, for the writers, and by the writers of the Bengali community. Let's love literature, let's love BLRC. Many thanks to you all. Now, may I request the contributors of the Sahitya Patrika to come before the dais that we can have a picture together. I'm announcing the names of the writers. Akbar Hossain is on the chair. Dr. Dilip Chakraborty is not in Canada right now. Shivli Jahan, and I myself, Shirojit Rai Majumdar on the stage, Dr. Muzammal Khan, Farid Ahmad, Monish Rafiq, Basudev Datto, Sadia Ahmed. You all know that many people very frequently visit back home, so they are not present here. Bidyut Sarkar, Amit Kumar Mukhopadhyay, I saw Amit, Ashim Bhaumik, Arko Bhattacharya, Dr. Arun Bhaumik, Arun Angshuhor, Ashish Rai, Abdul Hasif, he lives in Ottawa. Abdul Halim Mia is now in Bangladesh. Chayan Das is on the dais. Jalal Kobir, Duranto Prakash, Madhumita Mukherjee, Farhana Rahman, Broti Das Datto, Manjur Mahmud, Mahmud Hassan, Bhajan Sarkar, Bhupal Acharya, Rezaul Islam, Juthika Barua, Sharif Hassan, he lives in Ottawa. Dr. Shoaib Said in Montreal, Shivabroto Nondi, he is really very sick today. Shima Dash, Sudhir Shaha in Bangladesh right now. Aparanna Shushmiti in Montreal. Akhtar Hossain, Emil Goni, Joshim Mollik in Bangladesh. Tasrina Shikha hasn't reached us yet. Victor Gomez, Mamunur Rashid, Mominul Azam, Mamun Bhai, yes. Rubina Chaudhary, Roxana Leis, Shuja Rashid, Shuchandrima Singh Chaudhary, he is in Australia right now. Masud Khan, Delwar Ilahi, Akhil Shaha, Elina Mita, Ritusri Ghosh, Ganga Banerjee, Gausar Reza, Jahanara Bula, Manju Manara, Tapon Rai, Mehrab Rahman, Shongita Yasmin, Dr. Sujit Datto, Mustafiz Rahman, Shuchana Das Badhon, Q Hassan in Calgary, Imamuddin, Kazi Zohiruddin on the dais, and Pamilia Khalid. Okay, we have got only a few ones. We'll take a picture together.
Thank you, Mr. Subroto Kumar Das. Many thanks to the editorial board. I request the members to go back to your seats now. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted that Ms. Cindy Roseboom, the Managing Director of East End Arts, is here with us today. East End Arts is one of the 6 local arts service organizations of the City of Toronto. It's funded by the City of Toronto to serve a specific geographic area whose role is to, and I quote, encourage artistic growth in both emerging and established artists, contribute to the economy and local tourism, promote inclusion and equity, support healthy social change, and help create audiences for the future. We are extremely grateful to have the representative of such an organization to be present with us tonight. Now may I request Ms. Rosebaum to share her thoughts with us.
Thank you for the intro. Thank you very much. I'm extremely delighted to be invited to this event tonight, and I'm also very humbled by the amount of talent in the room. It's a wonderful thing that you're doing. I firmly believe that one of the ways that we make a better society in general is to share our stories through art. And so what you're doing here is incredibly important and vital. So I just wanted to congratulate the Bengali Literary Resource Centre for organizing this conference, as well as all of you for sharing your voice and contributing to the ongoing conversation that makes up this city, this country, and indeed the world. That's really all I wanted to say. Thank you. This is wonderful.
Thank you, Ms. Rosebaum. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ashok Chakraborty is a distinguished Bengali poet and painter living in Canada. Mr. Ashok Chakraborty is one of the few Bengali poets who has been able to continue his literary journey in the foreign soil. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Ashok Chakraborty to say a few words.
Good evening. Thank you very much for inviting me. I am delighted that Subrata, who's almost like my younger brother, has organized this thing, and it's really branching out now. I am delighted, and we needed this forum because we really didn't have any forum integrated as such in Toronto, in the suburb, where all writers, those who write in both English and Bengali or translates or write original, could see each other, could talk to each other, could change the opinion, their views, etc. That brings me to say and ask a question: what is really our job? I mean, we write fine, but we also ask why. Why should we write? What should we write? Does it make sense? In a way, as all writer knows, it is a huge wastage of real time in terms of North American norms. There's no money in it. All the product of writing is done by primarily middle-class intelligentsia, not rich people, not very poor people. And you have to understand the poet's also a human being, lives in a society. He has his problem. His son gets sick. He doesn't have much money to buy another car. Not everybody is well off. That's okay. So what's your job? How should you look at poetry? The moon, the sun, the universe, us, from within us, from outside of us. It's very important to understand or follow what our job should be and what our duty should be. Duty is a big word, but I think a poet, being a social being, he cannot negate society. At the moment you cannot negate society, you take a side. You cannot be free of thinking, but not free of opinion as such. The point I'm trying to make, the poet, we pinpoint that yes, he has a social responsibility. He should be looking around it. And that should not limit him in terms of being a Bengali as such, being in Toronto as such. He should be above it as a human being, humanist. very important. If you look at the best poets of the world, Darvish, Shevchenko, Jose Marti, Neruda, you take Nashim Hikmat, Faiz Ahmed Faiz, they are primarily from their country, but we don't call them Turkish or Arabian or South American. They're human poet. That's very important to follow, because as a poet, we should be above the caste, creed, religion, and even nation. Nation is a very bad, evil thing, toxic thing. When we just try to bind us in a system, we probably become a less human being. And as a human being, we should be above it. First thing, we're the citizen of the world. And I hope, as a poet, you become a free soul, think freely, produce freely, contribute freely, go above any caste, creed, or race. I am translating right now some famous black female poet. It's finished now. I'm polishing it. How even in being a slave, how, if you know the names, I'm not talking Maya Angelou, I'm not too fond of her, honestly, but I'm talking Gwendolyn Brooks or Alice Walker. The poet they write, they take the pain of the people, their own and outside pain, but it becomes very universal. Point is this, as a poet, no matter what you feel, expression should be very universal, beyond any limitation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chakraborty. Ladies and gentlemen, you all know PEN is an organization that works worldwide for the freedom of writers. Mr. Randy Boyagoda, the president of PEN Canada, was supposed to be present tonight. Unfortunately, he's unable to join us, but has sent his good wishes in the form of a brief message. I invite Ms. Shuchona Das Badhon to kindly share the message with all of us. Mr. Subroto Kumar Das, do you have the message with you?
Randy Bagoda sent to Mr. Subroto Kumar Das. So he has written, Dear Mr. Das, I wish to take the opportunity to congratulate you and the Bengali Literary Resource Centre on the occasion of the Bengali Writers Conference and the inaugural issue of your bilingual literary journal on December 3rd, 2016. It is precisely the act of telling stories that demonstrates for ourselves, our readers, and the world at large that the inherent dignity of the human person is best served by a culture that celebrates literature, defends freedom of expression, and aids those in need of help. Your work participates in this larger and needed effort, and for that, I thank you. Please accept our very best wishes for the success of this important literary endeavor. Sincerely, Randy Bagoda, President of PEN Canada.
Thank you, Shuchana. That was really an encouraging message. Mr. Akbar Hussain, a noted intellectual, a free thinker, and a wonderful writer, is present with us this evening. May I now request Akbar Bhai to share his thoughts on the Writers' Conference.
Thank you, Nandita, for calling me. Philosophically, expression is the foundation of our existence. If we do not talk, if we do not write, if I do not present anything to prove my presence, then my existence becomes very negligible. BLRC is aimed at doing this job to create writers, encourage writers, so that we can speak our mind, enrich the humanity, and create a bondage between various differences, what we in our Indian philosophy we call creating an unity in diversity. With this aim, we are working here among the new and established writers to create a platform from where we'll be able to express ourselves in an unison voice. I myself was not born in this country, but I am a Canadian, and my identity that I am a Canadian, so my expressions are to be Canadian too. So how I can do that? That means I have to translate the new culture, the new identity I have here with the one which I have already to create an essence of humanity through my expressions. These are the salient features which is working among us in BLRC to create a foundation of expression. I understand and I appreciate your presence here today, especially the guests sitting here, and they have appreciated our mission. This is a great encouragement for all of us, and I wish in future also we will be able to do something more better than that what we are doing right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Akbar Hussain. Toronto's Poet Laureate serves as the city's literary ambassador. As an advocate for poetry, language, and the arts, the Poet Laureate attends events across the city to promote and attract people to the literary world. We are happy that the Poet Laureate of Toronto, Miss Anne Michaels, is present here tonight to encourage us. May I now invite Ms. Michaels to say a few words.
I'm very honored to be here. It's a very, very exciting and very important evening for you to have gathered together this way, for you to have published this fine book, for you to have published 5 books, including one in English, is a tremendous achievement. And the strength of your community is an inspiration to all the communities in the city. And I hope that other communities and other language groups will come together and do as you have done, because it is exactly what the city needs. Language is hope. Literature is hope. It is everything we hold dear. It is our history, our culture, our future, our past. It creates community. It comes out of community. And so what you are doing is essential. In my role as Poet Laureate, I would like to let you know that I am available and happy to help in any way in the work that you're doing. And I know that the city would be incredibly excited and honored to be part of your growth as a community and as an organization. This is of utmost importance for this time and for this place, this unique city which speaks 150 different languages. And so what you are doing here is leading the way forward for everyone to understand how much we bring to our place and how much we have to give to our place. And I'm very honored and very, very excited for you, because this is a tremendous adventure, and no one has really done this before, what you're doing. So please call on me if you need any assistance, and please accept my very, very best wishes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Michaels. That was great, and that was really encouraging. Lastly, I would like to invite the chairperson of BLRC, Dr. Rakhal Sharkar, to share his thoughts with us.
সম্মানিত অতিথিবৃন্দ, distinguished guest, আপনাদের সবাইকে আজকের এই মহতী অনুষ্ঠানে সুস্বাগতম। Ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished guest, on behalf of BLRC, I extend a special gratitude to all of you for making yourself available despite maintaining a very busy schedule. We are truly thankful to you. You may be wondering, I started this with Bengali. This is the literature, this is the language I first communicated with my mom, and this is the language that is very playful with my inner core. So this is a small tribute to my mom, all the mothers in this room, and all mothers in every single corner of this world. This is the second such event organized by BLRC. The BLRC emerged as a non-profit organization on August 12, 2016. However, the dream started at least 2 years ago. I wish to introduce you to that thought. There is a reason. One of our distinguished guests asked me briefly, very nicely, am I a writer or a poet? So I told her, no, I'm not. I'm a reader, a literary enthusiast. I'm sure this type of question may be in some of your mind. If I'm not a writer, I'm not a poet, I'm not a literary personality, how did I get attached to this organization, right? About 2 years ago, I had a very brief meeting with Mr. Delwar and Mr. Subrata Kumar Das, and in about half an hour, I came to the realization that we are all dreaming the same dream. And that's when I told them, despite my academic responsibilities, as well as many other that keeps me fully occupied, I will make myself available in whatever capacity I can to make this organization a reality and to see it grows. So what started as a small dot has now become a circle. I strongly believe the periphery of which will continue to expand with your active participation and your blessing. So on behalf of BLRC, I wish you to join BLRC in whatever capacity you would like to and make this dream come true. We are all endowed with the capacity to think and dream. All human beings are. Some dream, most of the time we dream during our sleep, many of which disappear as we wake up. But some dreams don't. They tend to stay with you. They capture your imagination and give you a nudge from within to seek out people who you can share your dreams with. That's how you tend to find a group of people who have similar views, similar thoughts, similar dreams. And dream of one person becomes dream of the community, dream of a nation. And when that happens, we realize some wonderful outcomes. Ladies and gentlemen, BLRC represents one such outcome in my view. I mentioned it in a previous gathering that we had, that Canada provides a unique opportunity for all of us living in this wonderful country. We have the opportunity to enrich the multicultural mosaic of this country. I wouldn't probably realize what the uniqueness of this mosaic and how we can contribute to enrich it if I did not have a child going to high school. We often discuss issues which are related to literature and what they learn in school and why and how some of the literature can be enriched using contributions from all different ethnic groups, their communities. Each group is blessed with their own language, their own contribution. But it is our responsibility to bring these two forward so that we can introduce broader Canadian literary contributors and enthusiasts that this is the richness of our own literary and cultural heritage. At the same time, we need to bring what is best in contemporary Canadian literature, literary work, so that we can engage in a meaningful dialogue. And this is the dialogue that is going to move us forward as a community and the country forward. Often, we have this discussion. There are many different ways we can communicate with different groups and we can share our thoughts. Music is one of those. There is television medium, but there is something unique to the literary medium. And that's what I wish to share with you. When you read, I know we are all busy in our own circles. The very little time we have, we often watch television, listen to music. Those are excellent forms of entertainment. However, if you develop a reading habit, if you pick up a book or a story that you find really interesting. It will give you a break from your daily chores, trials and tribulations of your life, and you will find it refreshing, rejuvenating, and perhaps restful. But in the end, what you will find is enthusiasm, and may find encouragement as well as some thoughts to move things forward. And these are the things, when we come to a different country or when we really get busy with our own lives, these are the two things, encouragement and mental stimulation, that seem to be short in supply. Only good literature can provide us those two things. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you to enjoy the rest of the program, and please be part of BLRC. Please do it for yourself, your future generation, the community, as well as the country we live in, the country we call Canada. The country gave us home, a beautiful home away from home. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sharkar, for making such insightful comments. So, we have come to the conclusion of the first session of the evening.
Society and family life. This is why when I was young, having great nice things. When we are watching channels